Irfan, can you hear? No, Irfan, we cannot hear you.
He's mute.
You are on mute.
In the
Okay,
meeting, yeah.
well, that's good. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, we do very well.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Let's see. Okay, apologies, guys. We are almost 1 hour late. I was having some troubles with my computer, and now I am on the other one. Um, okay, let's start. So this is session one, and I think there will be total 6 sessions for this training. We've got some superheroes in the team. Zahir, as you know, Faraz and Ali, Asim, Nam, Khizr, and Akram. And as we move forward, I think we'll keep hearing from these guys more. Okay, so what CRM is, I think there are some people who probably already know what CRM is, and some of them are new to this concept. So I'll just keep it quick, and we'll move forward with the slides. So it's as there are some questions, if it is a practice, methodology, strategy, technology, or a platform, I think it's a bit of everything, but more towards a philosophy, which is kind of how do we interact with our customers and how do we make relationships. So basically, wherever there is a customer, we uh, we can say that there is a need of a CRM over there. So basically, it's a philosophy. It's a philosophy to drive success. Now, I can quote you a few examples. So one of the examples is, say, for example, you go to a cafe every day and you order same coffee every day in the morning. After a couple of days or 3 4 days, what happens is that barista starts recognizing you, and the moment you enter, they will say your name and already start writing, say you want a mocha extra hot every day. So whenever I go to that specific cafe, I'm going there for the last probably 6 months. uh, After first few days, what they do is they start giving you a personalized experience, which makes me happy. So the moment I'm entering, rather than I start talking to them and telling them what I want, they know what I want, right? So that's a personalized experience. So that's a CRM in their head, in their brains, rather than on technology. So that's where the philosophy comes in. Another example probably is credit cards. So I had the other computer where I had something better ready, but unfortunately it's gone now. So if we start with the credit card process, so I'll try to open notepad here. The credit card process is basically you are banking with some bank, or you fill out some surveys online where you say put some of your personal information. For example, that I'm working at this so and so company, and I fill in a survey and I say, okay, this is my salary and blah blah blah. So now some computers behind the scenes, which we don't see, uh, will make your profile. Like even Google makes your profile. So somewhere I will get my profile that this is me. I'm working as an architect and I'm earning an X amount of money every month. So now that computer is intelligent. What it will do, it will pass on your information to their credit cards department. Say for example, I'm banking with CBA, and CBA has a credit card department as well. So what will happen is CBA will pass on my information to their marketing team so that they can come back to me and ask for say if I want a credit card. So what I will do is probably I'll say, okay, call me. at a later time, right? So call me tomorrow. I'm busy at the moment. So now tomorrow they will call me again, and I'll say, okay, give me some information. So I'll ask for more information, right? Tomorrow they will call me and they will send me some, probably some information to read, or they will ask me to sign up for something. And in the end, say for example, I agree that okay, I'm getting a credit card. Now what happened behind the scenes is I had some information stored in their systems, and they qualified me as a potential customer. Then they sent my information to a specific marketing team who contacted me and who took some more information from me. Now I've shown my interest, and then they shared some more information with me. Now, once I accepted that, yes, I want to become your credit card customer, what happened is now they've created another type of contact for me. Like, okay, I'm interested and I've signed up, and now I have taken the credit card, and then the purchasing starts and then everything. Now, one fine day, I found out that my statement, or whatever we call the bill, is showing some fishy transaction on my credit card statement. So I'll give them a call. So the moment I call them, they will say, "Hi Irfan, how are you doing?" And I would be kind of the moment I call them, I'll start feeling a personalized experience, and I'll start getting a bit comfortable. So that's the goal of the CBA, that the moment I call them, CBA or Vodafone or any call center where I have some relationship with them, the moment I call them, they start taking my name and they start putting me into a comfort zone. Now, that is the customer relationship management. As I said, now there are two examples, one without technology and one full of technology. Now, the difference is size. The problem is with say, for example, Pakistani industry is we don't realize the potential of a customer, but in these countries they realize the potential of a customer. They give you personalized experience. They store your information. Now, in Vodafone, say for example, I was having some issues and I call them to fix those issues. And if they don't fix those issues, they might flag me as a unhappy customer. So next time, if they have a specific product which is specially targeting those kind of problems, they can get a segment of users which are basically targeting those unhappy customers with that specific product. Now you see, there is a link. I I was a customer and I was an unhappy customer, and now they are offering a different product which is targeting that specific segment of the people. They can specifically contact me. Why? Because they have a specific set of softwares which is enabling them to make my profile and make sure that whatever interests I have or whatever is making me happy or unhappy is stored. Now they can target those kind of customers with those kind of products. So that's basically an ideology of the CRM, where they can store your information, they can store your interests, they can store what do you want to achieve, and then they can market what they have got um, for those set of customers. Now, that's a CRM component. There's another component which is financials, like what transactions did I made in the last, say, 2 years or 2 months. What are those amounts and specific? That's not a part of CRM, but again, if we can integrate these two components, what will happen is I'm calling CBA and I'm saying I'm noting a fishy transaction on my credit card in the month of July, on 19th of July, for example. Now, if CBA customer care representative can open my profile, open my list of transaction and solve my problem, then I will be a happy customer, right? I was working with CBA in I think 2012 or 13, and they have spent almost $1 billion to set up their CRM system, which is customer relationship management system. And uh, after spending that $1 billion, what their motive was is not to make sure that our CRM is working. Now their motive was to push their staff, every staff, no matter if he's in the banking, if he's working in the bank as a clerk, or if he's into the IT, or if he's a director, or if he's a CEO for that, whatever their specific role was. The target that they have got was to make sure that you increase customer satisfaction. It is because they value their customers. Now, why would they value their customers? Is because they pay them, they let them earn more money. So that's the importance. Like, uh, as I said here, that CRM is a philosophy to drive success and personalized experience. So if I get a personalized experience, CRM, the CBA shares will move up. But if they don't care about their customers, then their profits will go down. And that's basically where a philosophy or the customer relationship management will come into place, and they will help them with some kind of report, some kind of KPIs or metrics that we have got happy customers or unhappy customers, and based on that data, they can then drive their future strategies. Now, CRM itself is a concept, but then there are different tools to support helping with that concept. Now, with that, like I was just reading someone shared the Gartner review as well, but uh, overall in the world, Microsoft Dynamics has just 4% share in the CRM market. 50% of share belongs to a number of vendors, smaller vendors, because there is a need of CRM in almost every industry. But in the bigger industries, there are some big players involved, like, for example, Microsoft, Salesforce, SAP, Oracle. Oracle has a smaller market share than Microsoft, but now Microsoft Dynamics is picking up. Specifically in Australia, I'll show you in a couple of more slides that in specifically Australia, why Microsoft CRM is becoming a hot skill. But let's just go through this slide, which actually tells you that Microsoft is in the CRM market since 2003, where they released version 1, and now 2016, 2017. In 2016, they released Dynamics 365. So Dynamics 365 is a new concept which I'll go through in probably some later sessions. But in 2017, currently, the current version of Microsoft Dynamics is called Microsoft Dynamics 365, which is uh, kind of reshaping their market share, which is very powerful tool. And I'll show you why it is going to kind of reshape the market share for Microsoft. This is how the UIs for CRM 1.0 look like, which is pretty basic, like we all have probably seen or created similar. This is CRM 3.0 when they upgraded. This was one of their products which actually helped Microsoft put their steps into the CRM market. Then they moved to CRM 4, which with some better looking UI and some better looking architecture as well behind the scenes. 2011 was again, I think, one of their most sold products. In 2013, they come up with a different UI. So as you can see, on 2011, the navigation was on the left hand side, and then the content was here on the right hand side. But in 2013, they redesigned it because what they found is, rather than wasting some space on the left hand side and then giving some users some space on the right hand side, so what they did is they come up with a different idea that now our navigation model will stay on the top. And it basically, it's not always there in the recent version. So unless you just go and click here, the navigation doesn't come up, so that the user can have the maximum screen space. Then it comes Dynamics 365, and similar, like you can have the dashboards, and as you can see on the top, you don't have that navigation visible until you click it. So before going to the first look, I think what I'll do is go through the comments if there are any. Okay. I can't hear anyone. If anyone is talking, please let me know if there is any specific question. Zahir, I think
No,
if you can just
I'll good. If there is a question, I would ask everyone to post it in the chat window, and if any
sure.
comments as well, and we pass on that to you. So you continue with your presentation.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So what I'll do is to copy this link. This is the first look of Dynamics 365 from Microsoft itself. It's a very powerful presentation, and it's just 2 minutes video, and I want to share it with you. Most of you probably have seen it before. Zahir, how is the breakfast?
I haven't done any breakfast.
Okay, can you hear this video? Zahir, can you hear the sound coming from this video?
No, I can't.
Is it audible now?
No.
Okay. All right.
Maybe you
I'll
send the
try
link
to.
to on the comments and people watch
The
it.
audio. Yeah, that's a good idea. Come on. Okay, guys, I'm sharing this link with all of you. How do I open in GoToMeeting?
No, just put it, in the comments area. Post it. Enter your message here. Post the link there.
Sure. Okay. So let's give 2-3 minutes and maybe 5 minutes as Imran has suggested. So back at 9:20. I hope in the meanwhile everybody will just listen and see the video.
वालेकुम सलाम. नहीं, हाँ मुझे आ रहे हैं वक़ात.
Hello.
Okay, I think pretty much everyone is done, and uh, it was an important part because that's how Microsoft presents their Dynamics 365 concept. Okay, Zahir bhai, I think there is a noise. I don't know where it is coming from.
Faraz, can you mute everyone?
Okay, thank you. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, we do.
Okay, all right. So let's move to the next slide. Okay, so Microsoft Dynamics is basically a technology or the platform uh, which a number of global consultancy firms are providing consultancy for. Now that makes it uh, a bit hot because uh, like there are some companies which are global and there are some companies which are local, and the third type of it is regional. Now the global are the big players in the market. They have better access to partner source and everything. They get to see the first look of Microsoft. Now I'll show you some of the global consultancy firms which are working on the Dynamics platform, say Avanade, KPMG, Ericsson, Fujitsu, PwC, HP, and Hitachi. I think there are a couple of more which I'm missing, but what I'm trying to say here is these are the global Microsoft Dynamics partners which are providing consulting um, to basically some of the customers. Now, if you're talking about say KPMG, KPMG is one of the very big global partner of pretty much everything. Now, when they come into Dynamics and they start providing consulting, what do they do is basically they don't pick up the customers which are probably some small organizations. So if a small organization wants a CRM, Microsoft CRM implementation, they won't go to KPMG because KPMG's rates are very high. But at the same time, KPMG will only provide consulting and development services to someone who is of a size of say a CBA bank or something like that. Now, currently KPMG is, I think, working on a very large implementation of Dynamics CRM in University of New South Wales, and that basically tells us that what is the size of organization working for the size of the customer. There are some local or regional partners as well. SMS is one of them, Magellan, Barhead, Oakton, and a number of them. So these are kind of mid-sized partners. Now, why I'm showing you this is basically to tell you that there are lots of companies hiring Microsoft Dynamics CRM people who has got different level of skills. Now, with these partners, uh, you can see simply that, say, again, coming to the KPMG, the people they've got in their team are probably one of the very well-known people in the market. Uh, and with these mid-sized players, they they have got some very good senior resources, but they also look for some transformation. Now, I was just talking to my practice manager the on Thursday or Friday. What we are saying is uh, their sales team is very active, and they've got like I've joined them just 1 week ago, and I can see at least two contract signed off already. So basically, uh, what they have got is a team of say 30, 40 people, and the number of projects coming in is like we cannot serve all of the customers. So wherever they go, they just get the contract because people are so hungry. The customers are so hungry. They just want their CRM implementation done as soon as possible. But the struggle we are having at the moment is we don't have enough people to support us. So now, rather than just focusing on people who have dynamic CRM experience, what we are trying to find out is people who have the right attitude and they are happy to transform into dynamics CRM rather than just having the core experience up their sleeves. So what I'm trying to sell here is this is a very hard skill, and the vendors are already realizing that in the market, in the Australian market, we don't have enough people with Microsoft Dynamics skills. So they are happy to take on the people who don't have experience with Dynamics, and they're happy to invest in those people and transform them into the Dynamics world. So this is a really good opportunity. Dynamic CRM is going to be selling like a hotcake. Why? I'll tell you in some time. Now, I'll give you another flavor on where dynamic CRM is applied, which industries. Federal government. I've worked with a department, and I know that there are at least 10, 15 different departments which are implementing Microsoft Dynamics CRM that I only know, but there are number of departments within the federal government who are implementing Microsoft Dynamics CRM. Now, why I'm emphasizing on federal government and Dynamics is basically federal government is the one who makes decisions. It's just like if there is a ideology at the say, for example, if you make a product which you can sell in the USA, and you make millions of bucks from by selling that product, there is a very good chance that you will be able to sell the same product in UK, in Europe, in Australia, New Zealand, and all these first world countries. Similar to that, if you are able to sell something to federal government, then there is a very good chance that you will be able to sell the similar concepts to the state governments. And once it is in the governments, then it goes down to the councils and local governments, hospitals, universities, schools. The federal government is one of the major customers of Microsoft Dynamics CRM. And after federal government, I've already told you that KPMG was implementing a UNSW system, which UNSW has acquired a CRM system which was not Microsoft Dynamics back in, I think, 2009. And that worked for them for probably 7, 8 years. But now they are moving to Microsoft Dynamics, which already tells you that how how the customers, the big organization are realizing the potential of Microsoft Dynamics. It's already in federal government, education sector, banks. There are utility industries, state governments. Like I've worked for at least 2 to 3 departments in state governments and implemented CRM, Microsoft Dynamics CRM. Councils, which we call local governments, it's councils is such a hot cake. Now, I don't have selling skills, like I don't have marketing and sales skills and experience. But if anyone out there has got some experience in sales and marketing, they can just learn this Microsoft Dynamics skill and then just go to the local councils because they have got their own budgets and everything. They can just sell it themselves. I know a guy, Adrian. He was in Melbourne, but then he moved to South Australia, Adelaide. He has implemented Microsoft Dynamics himself with the help of a couple of, I think, people, and he just goes to councils, he talks to them, and he sells and he implements the Microsoft Dynamics solution over there. So it's a very big scope in councils as well. Health sector is also working and implementing. I've worked with Ministry of Health New South Wales, and they have got a CRM implementation as well. The retail sector is also there was a I was trying to find a introduction, probably Fraser or uh, ask him if you can help finding that in that CRM introduction video for Michael Hill. That was a very good introduction video. I just was looking for that. I couldn't find it. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is Microsoft Dynamics is applied in pretty much every industry you name, and that again goes back to the point that it is a very hot skill, and if you learn it, you just are coming into an elite skills, uh, people with elite skills, and then you will be able to find the job or switch the job pretty easily. What jobs are out there which we can target if we have, say, dynamic CRM skills? Architects, now, as you can imagine, uh, I don't know if you have a good idea of how the software industry or the consulting industry is, kind of the hierarchy of the consulting or software industries. So basically, we got testers, then we got developers, we got business analysts, we got project managers, we got architects. Now, if we have a team of, say, 20 people or 30 people, we probably have got one project manager and one architect, right? Now, I'm working as an architect, and I have, like, every time I go to market to find a job, it's like it takes a couple of weeks and I get at least two offers. Every now and then, almost once or twice a week, I'm getting a recruiter calling me or just sending me a LinkedIn email that we've got a role as an architect. If you're happy to switch, we are just happy to get you on board. Now, that's basically what I'm saying is, with team of 30 or 20 people, we have got one architect, and within a week I'm getting at least 2 to 3 leads that we've got a architect role open. So that tells me that we have got one architect for 30 people. We are hiring at least 2 to 3 architects every week. So now, do the maths. If we have one architect position every week, then how many business analysts do we want? How many developers do we want? How many testers do we want? So that's why now the problem is we can't find the skills or the people with this dynamic skills within Australian market. So we are going outsourcing. We are like, it's not a choice. Uh, Companies still want to hire local people because they want to do the quick turnarounds, but they can't find enough skills, so they are going offshore. I know, like HP and even SMS. I know Oakton. They What they do is they couldn't find the right skill in the market. So what they do is they sponsor some people from outside. Like, I know one of my friends was recently sponsored by Oakton, and he just came to Australia on a sponsored visa. So again, it's a very hot skill. They can't find people in the market with the right skills, so they are going either offshore or else they are importing people on the job visas. Business analyst. Now, one can argue that with the kind of the job of a business analyst, why do we really need to understand what the technology is? Or with the job of a project manager, why do I care that I know the technology or the framework before I become a project manager or a business analyst? Because we are generalists, we don't worry about the framework, and we don't need to, and we don't have to worry about the framework or the technology. I kind of disagree with that uh, concept, because with dynamic CRM, uh, Microsoft sells it as a product, and they say this is the product, this is the framework. Now you have to adopt with it. Yes, we can customize it, but you have to adopt with the ideology. Now, if the business analyst doesn't know how the ideology is or how the structure of the, let's take a simple example of the UI. I'll just go back a few slides, and I'll show you this kind of form. Say, okay, this one. Although it's old, but it's kind of the structure is pretty much same even now. Now you can see, I know this is a very bad resolution, but at least you can see that there are some fields on the form. and then there are some buttons on the top: save button, save and close button, send emails, attachments, reports, and things like that. Now you see, from a business analyst perspective, I have been in a situation where business analyst without any CRM knowledge uh, was appointed to a specific project. What she did is she took out some requirements from the people, which was a good job. And then the dangerous thing is she started designing the wireframes. Now, what a wireframe is kind of a blueprint or a concept of how the UI will look like. She designed a UI with all these fields, and then she put some buttons at the bottom: save and close, save and cancel. We signed up for a fixed price contract with that customer because our project managers and account managers didn't have knowledge of CRM as well, and they didn't involve a CRM person to start off with. When we went in to implement it or to design the system, what we found out is it's a fixed price contract and there are buttons at the bottom. Now we started talking to the customer and we said we can't have these buttons at the bottom. Customer again didn't understand. They didn't want to start kind of start some discussions which will again talk about the design or the wireframes, because they have already invested a lot in that area. So now what they wanted is to see the screens just like that. The trouble we started feeling is we cannot move these buttons from the top to the bottom. So these save and close button, we cannot actually drag these buttons and show them at the bottom just like we have signed the contract for. Uh, that's a very a small and a simple example where a business analyst, if they don't know the platform and they design the wireframes with a specific customer, you have no workaround. So now you have to go back to your account manager. They will again start negotiating with the customer to actually at least start listening to these guys who are telling you some limitations of the technology or the platform. And that's a difficult discussion to have. So rather than going into that difficult discussion and pushing away the customer, we want to start training our business analysts on the dynamic CRM platform. Same goes for project managers. Testers. Now, we we all have probably worked with some testing during our careers. They have a different mindset. What they do is they look at some of the requirements and then they start playing around with the navigation, because so far in the market, what I have seen is if we go out of the dynamic CRM world, what we see is there is a specific structure. Again, left-hand side is for navigation, right-hand side is for the contents, and then there are buttons at the bottom. If you need to generate some reports, or if you need to look at some of the lists or something like that, it's all in bespoke .NET applications. What happens is a developer will kind of give you a list of, say, for example, a list of students. Now, as a tester, what I will do is I will find out, okay, this is the student name, this is their ID, and all the other information. I just double click to open, and it will open in a specific window, and then I can, start testing. With Dynamics, it's a bit different. It's all customizable. Now, you don't need to really rely on a developer to give you a list. You can create your own lists. Then when it goes back to the customer or the user trainings, you can train them how to customize the UI and make your own lists, make your own views, make your own reports and things like that, make your own dashboards. With the business development and sales roles, this is a very interesting role. Uh, Although I don't have these skills, but I recently was involved in one of the discussions with the sales team. What I found is, if a business developer or a salesperson, I don't know if we have any business developer or salesperson in this training today, but we may want to start considering a career in the business development or sales. Now, I would emphasize that why it is very important that they understand the concept and the product is, uh, I've worked with a couple of sales business development teams. currently at SMS Technologies, what I found is my business development team has lots of skills in Microsoft Dynamics CRM, and they've been selling CRM for the last probably 20 years. And overall, if we calculate the experience of the sales team with Dynamics and the CRM, it goes over 100 years. Now, how it works is the business development or salesperson probably calls some of the potential customers. Then they go to their site and they start explaining how can we actually improve your processes, how can we help with your customer relationship management needs, how can we implement some of the solutions or softwares. If they have already got the concept of how Microsoft Dynamics works, they can sell it really quickly. And I've just, as I was saying, that I was working with the sales team just very recently. What I found is they didn't actually need someone from the Dynamics team because they already have the knowledge and they have sold a system. They have sold a specific kind of a contract. They've got a contract from one of the customers. Now, we don't have to worry about that problem that I explained earlier, that the sales team have sold something with a different idea, and now the design team goes in and they find it difficult to convince the customer that this is the product and this is how it is going to work. Now, the sales teams already knew what is the product and how it works, and they sold the same concept. Now think from a developer perspective or a, an architect perspective or a business analyst perspective. You don't have to go to the customer and tell them that how this technology is working and what are the features and what are the stuff. Your sales team have already sold the concept, which is based on the Microsoft Dynamics platform. And now your customer has already done their research. They have already attended some of the seminars and they have already taken some basic trainings and read some books. I was working with federal government and I was really impressed with the guy who was my kind of uh, a client point of contact. What I saw him is when my sales team actually went to sold him the concept of Microsoft Dynamics and started talking to him, what he did is rather than just sitting as a duck because just being a customer, what he did is he bought a book on Dynamics and started reading it himself. So these kind of things is basically help with delivering success. It's not just that it makes our job easy. What we want to do is in the end we want to basically make the system successful, right? Okay, so salary ranges, that's important because we all think in terms of numbers. So for an architect out there in the market, if we are looking for a contract, you can easily get a contract between 1,000 to $1,400 per day. 1,400 being the top range, and if you have got very good experience with Dynamics and integration, then you will get that range. But otherwise, 1,000 is your kind of minimum benchmark. Or if you are looking for a permanent job, then you can start from the range of 130 and it goes up to 160, 170 plus super. For project manager, it's not 8,000 per day. Sorry for the typo. It's 800 to 1,100 per day. Again, it goes up to 150 plus super if you are looking for a permanent job. For business analyst, I think in the market, 600 to 650 is the general rate for a general business analyst. But if you have got Microsoft Dynamics experience, I can assure you that you can easily get a jump of 200 per day if you're looking for a contract. Again, 90 to 130 plus super uh, in the permanent jobs. For a developer, I have been working with at least 3, 4 developers very recently, and they've been getting at least 800, $900 per day. It goes up to 130, 140 plus super if it's a permanent job. Testers, trust me, it's really, really difficult to find a tester who has Microsoft Dynamics experience. And if a company finds a specific tester with that skill, they are happy to pay up to $600, $700 per day. And uh, testers with Dynamics experience is just It's really hard skill. Again, BD, as I explained, that with BDs, it's really important to have that dynamics experience, and mainly their jobs are commission based. Okay, that's interesting. Why future belongs to Dynamics 365? Like why I am saying that it's a hard skill and it will remain a hard skill. Uh, in 2015, Microsoft went live with Australian data centers. Now, what that means is Dynamics CRM was a product previously, just like, say, for example, uh, Microsoft Word or Microsoft Office. Now it is also online, but think about, say, 5 years ago, you just get an installer of a Microsoft Office. You just double click, provide a ID or the key, and install it on your computer. Now you don't need to be online, you don't need to be connected to internet. You can fill in your documents, you can start typing, you can do your Excel spreadsheets and whatever. Microsoft Dynamics was a similar thing before 2013. You just install it and just start working it internally on your computers. Within the organizations, you don't have to be online. You just are connected to LAN and which is network, and you just keep working with Microsoft Dynamics. But in 2013, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, if Asim or Fiza, um, in 2013, I think Microsoft Dynamics went with the concept of a cloud-based installation, a cloud-based service. Now, what cloud-based is, I know most of the people would already know, but cloud-based is basically you don't need to maintain the infrastructure in-house. What you do is you rent a service from Microsoft. Microsoft installs it on their own servers, just like you use Gmail. You don't install Gmail on your computer, right? Google has installed Gmail servers somewhere in their servers, and you just access it while you are online. Same concept goes for Microsoft Dynamics. They went online, and then uh, what they did is initially they have their data centers or their servers in the USA only, and then they said, okay, anybody, if you want to start your dynamics, you want to get your dynamics online service, your data will be stored in the USA servers. Now the trouble with that was, if I am in Australia and my Australian laws for the data are specifically talking about, say, some specific level of data integrity. For example, uh, I cannot share last name, right, with anyone. Uh, I don't know if that is a law or not, but just giving you a very simple example. But in USA, that might not be the law. In USA, you can say, if you can export a list of people and you can share their names with anyone, any marketing company. In Australia, I think there is a law which says that bulk SMS law, which basically says that if you receive a bulk SMS and there is no opt-out message within the SMS, generally you get an SMS say Connors is basically doing the sale on from this to this. Sorry, someone wants to say something. Okay, that's fine. So at the end of that message, you will see a specific text which says reply with stop to stop this this SMS, or reply and to stop this SMS. That's a law. Probably in USA that may not be a law, right? So now the trouble was that Microsoft was unable to sell their online subscriptions in other markets. Like they wouldn't be able to go to India, they wouldn't be able to go to Australia, Hong Kong. Out there in Asia, there is a very big market in Hong Kong and China and Japan for Microsoft Dynamics. Now what they did is they have come up with an idea of local cloud servers. So in Australia, they have installed a data center. In Hong Kong, they've installed Japan and USA. Now, with that, what happened is um, they were able to get some of the very large customers, like some of the banks, to buy a subscription of Microsoft Dynamics online and store their data on Microsoft servers. That was one thing. Now, then it comes down to, again, government. Government is the biggest spender on Microsoft Dynamics products. Now, with government, the trouble is the government do not trust the Australian data centers as well. They say we have specific documents which have a specific security classifications. We cannot actually use your data centers, so we don't trust you. So unless it is in-house or on-premise, there is a concept called on-premise, which is, you just install on a server inside your premises, and then you use it over the network or directly. Government doesn't trust that online concept because Microsoft was unable to give them some guarantees that your data is actually in the safe hands. Recently, government has got some agreement with Microsoft that, okay, Microsoft is guaranteeing that your data will be safe against these laws. So we will protect your data. So now what is happening is that has generated a huge demand in the market for Microsoft Dynamics experts. What does that mean is, in Canberra, all the federal government customers are now they are moving to online. So previously they were, say, probably on-premise 2013 version. Now they are moving to online Dynamics 365. Uh, to make that migration, they need architects, they need business analysts, they need developers, they need testers, they need project managers. Canberra market is so hot for Dynamics that uh, the difference in salaries, the, for the architect here in Sydney, you will get a job offer, say 140,000 plus super. Um, Same job if exists in Canberra, they're happy to pay you $200,000. So like there is a 50, $60,000 difference in salary ranges. That basically, why did that happen is because there is a recent agreement that Microsoft is providing one level of security classification for their data. Now that one level is out of, I think, 5 6 different security levels. Now imagine that with this one level there are lots of customers migrating, and tomorrow, within 1 or 2 years, if Microsoft agrees with providing another couple of security standards, there is a whole lot of customers within the state and the federal governments which will move to Microsoft Cloud again. So that means there are more jobs coming in. So that's why I said in point number 5, lots of upgrade and transformation work is coming. So be ready for that. Okay, so there's a small thing. I know there's only 10 minutes left, so I just wanted to go a little bit off track, and let's do a bit of quiz. So what do you think are 3 C's for success? C is the starting letter for a word. So can you just type in your comments in the chat window? Customer, concise, clear, collaboration. Very good. Yeah. Customer care. Awesome. Very good ideas, guys. Anyone else? Zahir? Adib? Communication, consistency. Awesome. Okay, thank you, guys. It means that, we are not sleeping. So, okay, so I'll go back to the presentation and I'll show you what I think is communications, communications, communications. Now, what communications is basically, I'll just give you a small story. Basically, in Stanford University in 1990, there was a research where they said why the ideas fail. The ideas fail because we lack communications. So communications is the core of everything. I actually want to spend more time on this, but because we don't have time today, so I'll just kind of just stop here. But if you're interested, I'm happy to run another session, probably 1 hour session on the communications and importance of it. So communication is a core part of everything. Now, I think most of us probably are from the software background here. So you can think about a software design. If I am the architect and I'm putting a design document for my software architect, what will happen is if my design is not talking, then my developer will not understand what I want him to do. So he will keep coming back to me if he's clever enough. Otherwise, he'll make assumptions. Being a project manager, if my project plan is not talking, if it's not communicating clearly, then the deadlines may fall over because the architect and the development team didn't understand what you actually meant by that specific thing. If I'm the developer, if my code doesn't speak, then if I'm reviewing your code, I don't understand what that means. If you don't put your comments, if your code is not clearly communicating what it means. So it's actually at the core of everything. So I'll just stop here and move forward. I don't know how many slides are left. I think there are just a couple of them to go. So the thing is, how do we basically get our hands dirty on Microsoft Dynamics CRM? So Microsoft luckily is offering a 30-day free trial. So I'll just post this. Sorry, I'll just post this link so that everyone can actually just do their just start set up their trials. And to do our own trial, I actually wanted to do the trial right now. So probably I'll just click this just to show you how to do that. So it asks some simple questions and there's a get started button at the bottom. I hope you can still see my screen. Okay, so it is asking you to give your email address. So I think I had an email address for this specific session because my previous trial was expired. Just give me 1 second and I'll just grab the email address that I just created. And just get started. Sorry, Faraz, can you please mute someone? I don't know if there is a background noise. Yeah, thank you, Naveed. 53 minutes to go. It's my office laptop, so it's good. Oops, that didn't work. That looks like a personal email address. Okay, all right. I'll try and do with my office email address. You are using another. Okay. Okay, I think let's park this one for the next session on how to set up a trial. In the meanwhile, I'll try and see how it works, and probably Khizar and Asim will be able to help me with that. So I think let's use these last couple of minutes to just
Irfan,
yeah,
we have few more questions.
yeah, sorry. I think let's just use these last few minutes to go through any questions. Please go ahead.
Yes, first question is from Faisal. He's asking if Dynamics CRM can help financial analysts and small businesses.
Okay, so what is the job of a financial analyst?
I don't know, Faisal, can you elaborate more on this?
Yes, thank you, Irfan bhai. Can you hear me?
Yes, I
Yeah.
can.
Okay, all right, that's good. Financial analyst, basically, like my question is that, like, for as a chartered accountants and like, the when you have your financial statements and like you have your data on your background, so whatever the data that's basically like you are getting from the the source and from different departments, so you have a kind of some like the job responsibility to put it in information that is useful for the management. So there are number of reports that's basically you drive it from the Excel, and like you have got other software as well, um, customized, and there's a IBM software as well that you use it. So like I'm just thinking like how basically it can interact with the like the your financial informations. And for small businesses, my other question, like if you have got like a medium sized businesses, so how you like could it be possible for us to set up a kind of like the model for them to like they can just operate it, or like we can just operate it for them, like the uh, this kind of like the product that is
Okay, yeah, I
what I'm
think
thinking.
I get
Sorry,
it. Very
yeah.
good. Uh, so with the like financial analyst or anyone who actually works with numbers, I think Dynamics CRM gives you a very good platform where it can give you lots of reports. Like dynamic any CRM system works on data, right? So the data we've got in the system is useful, but problem is it's not readable to the management. So what we do is, if I go back to my screen, what we do is we create some meaningful dashboards. Like for example, this one. In this one, you can see that this is a pipeline by sales stage. Like I'm just, it may not be 100% matching to your needs, but what I'm trying to say is you can actually model your data into some of the dashboards, which will help your management to make some decisions. So this is Microsoft Dynamics stores some data and the collaboration with their customers, but it also gives you a decision support system on top of it. So up to 2015, 2016 version, what was happening is it was giving you some basic dashboards, and then if it is on-premise version, then you can do some custom reporting. But with the recent Dynamic CRM 365, it gives you a Power BI tool which can give you very good reports which you can use for your decision support systems. So
So
the
just
second question, yeah.
So just a quick one more, like I'll just add up. So is it like a kind of like the IBM Watson? Because like I know like the KPMG and like some other like the Big Four, they are using and they are working on it. So IBM Watson is basically is like a kind of same like the that gives you like a dashboard, financial dashboard, and all those like the resources. You put the data and you get the information by just simply typing the word. So you will be just typing the words, simple words, and then like you'll get your like the whatever you wanted from there. So is it the kind of same similar thing or like something different?
Yeah,
Okay, I think
I just want to add here one thing, Irfan. I think Dynamics is you can integrate it with other reporting solutions, and of course with Power BI also, and in which you can do all sorts of reporting and dashboarding. And what Faisal was asking, you type in some keywords and give it it searches out in the available reports and dashboards and produce some outputs for you. So if you are talking about only CRM, might be having some limitations on the available reports, but if you integrate it with some other reporting platforms, and of course CRM is capable of doing that, you can, I think, achieve more on the analysis side and the reporting side. Is it right, Irfan?
Yes, that is right. Thank you, Faraz. So basically, I think, Faisal, the thing is, if we just use the dynamics for reporting purpose and saying that this is the output and this is how the graphs look like, I think that's not probably the primary use of dynamics. The primary use of dynamics is it captures the complete life cycle of collaboration with your customer, where the problems were and where the successes were, and then give the management a decision support system where, on the dashboards we can give you a number of different dashboards, whatever your requirement is. And then, okay, yeah, so I think, in a nutshell, CRM can give you very good reporting capabilities, and it can store all of your data, and it can store the customer journey. So that's
We
the basic concept of it.
Okay, we have a few more questions, Irfan. If you can just answer, give 1 minute to every answer only, so that we can finish finish the session for today. So, second question is from Imran. He's asking if we have available trial version. So you already shared with it. So we have available trial version. You can mention your work email address and you can get the trial working version for you for 30 days. So then another question is from Omer. He's asking if we have a VM for CRM development. Irfan, can you answer that? Hello?
I think Asim here. Sorry, I can answer this.
Yeah.
So basically, there are VMs available if you wanted to do any development on the on-premise version of Dynamics 365. But I think I would recommend that go and spin up a trial version online, and then there's a proper customization, and obviously from the trial version you can see the application itself from the functional point of view. But if you need to do any customizations or customization, you need a Visual Studio or things like that. I think Irfan will cover it later on, but just to give you an idea that if you wanted to see the application, do the configuration, all such things can be done on online version. So I would recommend that spin up the trial version.
Okay, so
I will add one more here. Arfin here. I agree with Asim that of course it's faster to do online. Plus they have an app for your phones and tablets, so you can do some dev or configuration or customization on your online version and test and view it on your phone.
okay, thank you. One last question.
Sorry guys,
from
I was disconnected and just came back.
Who is that? Irfan?
Yeah, Irfan here again.
Yeah, so luckily we have Asim also, another expert, so he answered one of the question. Thanks for that, Asim. One last question we have, Irfan, is from Kumail. He is asking CRM for different business sectors, how it differs in different versions.
Sorry, I didn't get the question. How it differs
the question in different business sectors. So if you're talking about having a CRM in government sector, and if you are implementing a CRM for education sector, how it will differ. So basic concepts. Yeah. So functionality wise, it will be different, or is how you use it.
Okay, sure. So basically, CRM, the Microsoft Dynamics CRM platform is really customizable. Like you can do whatever you want pretty much with it. So what we do is when we go to, say, an insurance customer, we give them the stuff that they want. And then when we go to an education customer, a university, university or whatever. Then we give them their specific. Then we give them the system as per their specific needs. So it's really customizable, and you can customize pretty much everything. The basic thing that we use from the platform is their the strength of their the workflows and their securities. A number of items which are, say for example, there are different security models available. Now you can actually customize security for the university customer, and you can customize the security for the insurance customer differently. But then Microsoft platform ensured that whatever I have chosen on the UI, that this person should have access to this and this person should not have access to that, then Microsoft platform will make sure that it will allow and disallow the access as per the configuration. So it's really customizable platform, and you can go to any customer and create a solution out of it, whichever is relevant to their needs.
Sorry, Irfan, this is Kumal. Just actually, my question is related to like job market perspective. Like if I am working in a government sector and using implementing the CRM there, how big is the jump for me? If like how much do I have to know more if I have to apply for a like implementing CRM on a education sector? So is there any difference between like is my experience count if I have work on government sector and I have to apply on government
No,
sector?
there's absolutely no difference. It's just like if I am a mechanic and I get a Toyota Camry or a Honda Civic. So pretty much it's the same. Like, they have the engine, they have the tires, and they have the doors. So it's pretty much the same thing. From a developer perspective, you don't really need to know much for the industry-specific details. But if you do, then it's a plus. Like if you have worked with the government customers, then the next job with a government client will be comparatively easier. But as a developer, I think you don't really need to worry about it. But being an architect, I think, yes, it makes a big difference. If you have experience in the insurance industry and the next job is in the insurance industry, then they will prefer you as compared to a person who has just worked in the government industry.
Okay, thank you. So we have few more questions from Sohail, Faik, and Adil. But guys, because of shortage of time, we will take these questions in the next session. So, but we will be sharing the recording on the classroom shortly. So thanks everyone. Sorry for the hiccups early morning regarding the PC restarts and our limitations in the invitees. So hopefully next time will be more smooth. But again, the session was really good. It gives us some direction that where we will be heading, and Irfan is doing a good job. So that's it from our side. We will stop the recording and we'll share the session in the Google Classroom. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Just one last thing.
Yep.
Can you please put those questions on the Google Classroom, and then we'll try to answer those over there as well.
Yeah, that's a very nice suggestion. So it will be helpful for everyone if you put the questions, and everyone will see the answers to whoever is present. Okay, guys.
Okay.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you, everyone.
See ya. Bye. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you,
Allah
Fraz,
Hafiz.
Irfan.
Allah.
Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz, everyone. Thank you.